reject your ban. We reject Islamophobia. And we are here to remind everyone that humanity still exists. That today, on the first day of Black History Month, Black Lives Matter, and that refugees and immigrants, individuals with their own talents and complexities, are welcome here. Stony Brook accepts you with open arms.
Well, you have anything to say?
This is amazing, and I love how everyone is out here showing support because we stand with you guys. We love you. Love. Assalamu alaikum.
This is what democracy looks like. What democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. What democracy looks like.
Sonia, hold up your sign.
On January 27th, I watched Donald Trump sign his 14th executive order in 6 days, wielding his glorified Sharpie sword to cut off immigrants and refugees from 7 Muslim-majority countries to American borders, promising to, quote, establish new vetting measures to keep radical Islamic terrorists out of the United States of America. Trump and his administration gleamed as they augmented the grimy gears of an Islamophobic machine that has existed in this nation for decades. As a Muslim American woman, witnessing the implementation of legislation that directly draws on buzzwords used in the Islamophobic community was neither novel nor shocking. I have been subject to direct Islamophobic harassment, watched as my community has been surveilled and scrutinized in its religious spaces and sanctuaries, and have passively consumed media products that only present people who look like me from a terroristic paradigm. Trump's ban on immigrants from several Muslim-majority countries is simply a staff in the crescendo of anti-Muslim policies that has been building in the US for years. From zoning laws that prevent the construction of mosques to countering violent extremism initiatives that disproportionately target Muslims, American legal policy has always looked at Muslim Americans with suspicion and fear. And this fear-turned legislation is entirely unconstitutional and contradicts the very value of freedom that lawmakers are entrusted with by their constituents to uphold. As a Muslim woman and activist, I feel exhausted and overwhelmed now that the vile and hateful rhetoric that I once believed only existed on the fringes of the political arena are now front and center. However, at Stony Brook University, I've been blessed to find classmates, teachers, and administrators who support me and the entire Muslim community unequivocally, unabashedly, and unconditionally. It's because of all of you, Seawolves, who stand in solidarity with us, that we are able to brave through incredibly difficult times like this. Make no mistake, this executive order is a moral affront to our values as Americans and humans alike. What does Donald Trump think compels an individual to abandon a place they call home and escape to a completely new land where they have to start from scratch? Nothing short of carnage, economic instability, and overwhelming hope for a better life. Does he understand that he has effectively destroyed the lives of thousands of individuals who were forcibly turned back and effectively humiliated? Does he realize that he's turned away legal, permanent residents and visa holders who have lived here since childhood and call America their home? These are scholars, business people, mothers and daughters, leaders, and integral parts of the American community. And this is xenophobia and religious discrimination in its barest and ugliest form. In his inaugural address, Trump earnestly promised that the forgotten men and women of our country will be forgotten no longer. Was Trump remembering me, a member of a community that has been demonized and scapegoated for decades when he made that statement? His executive order points to a no. Trump made good on many of his campaign promises so far, and I'm expecting him to make good on this promise too. No ban, no wall, freedom and justice for all. Thank you.